All right, nice. Looking looking good. Very basic, but looking good. Uh, let's just hoping people show up. Oh, hey, we got one person. Nice. And they're gone. uh, Let me actually check and see if I am streaming. What's up, Side Swipes Boss? What's up, Marvel DC Extinction Wrestlers? How's it hanging, man? Just checking on if everything sounds right, and everything does sound right. Just waiting for some more people to show up, and then we can get this party started. I know it's been a minute since I have streamed, and as you can see, I am on StreamYard now. So you're not seeing this beautiful face of mine. But I am kind of a mess right now. I did just get off work like an hour ago. So I'm kind of a mess. Hello, Side Swipes the Boss. What's up, JWS? How's it hanging, man? Star Wars fan 327. Hey, I'm so glad you can make it, man. So glad you can make it. How's it hanging? Just waiting for a few more people to join the stream before we get started. Because it has been a minute since I've streamed, so this is probably catching people off guard. Or at least the people I didn't, tell about the stream. Does everything sound all right on you guys' side? Like y'all can hear me okay? This is my first time using StreamYard, so it's kind of gonna be a little bit of like trial and error, with streaming on this software from here on out. Everything sounds fine for me. Your voice is a little low. Oh, uh, maybe it's because I'm a little away from the mic. Maybe if I come up closer, or maybe I could just turn it up a little bit. How about that? Yeah, how about that? Sound any better? Sounds way better. Nice. All right, yeah, I probably just had to turn the mic up a bit. But I'll give it another minute before I get into the topic or the event of the stream today. Evident by the title of the stream, of course. But yeah, I'll give it another minute so maybe some more people can show up and then we'll get started. All right. Well, it's been a minute. Hopefully, some more people show up during the stream, but let's just get started right away. So, as y'all can see, like I said earlier, I am on StreamYard now. So, you probably won't be seeing my face for a little bit, not until at least I get a better camera. But I decided to, haven't done a stream in a minute, let's do a stream. And I was like, let's make it a little interesting. So I have created a super tier list, not tier list of Clone Wars characters. And there's 6 rows of them. I could do more, but I didn't want to do any more. If you guys have any more like characters in the comments or like just put it in the chat, uh if I missed any characters you want to see, maybe I'll just verbally say it. But yeah, we're just gonna do a super tier list. It'd be too long for an actual video, so I decided, just do it for a stream. So, without further ado, let's get into the tier list. One question: what do you use to record your videos? Like audio wise, or when I do the tier list? Audio wise. Oh, I use this the HyperX mic. HyperX Quad Cam, I think that's what it's called. You'll find it on the HyperX website. It's a really good mic. It was suggested to me by a whole bunch of people, and I've been liking it so far. So yeah, I definitely needed a mic upgrade. So yeah, it's a HyperX Quad Cam recorder, I think. You'll find it on their website. It's done right so far. And it's the same brand as my headphones, so definitely works out for sure. But yeah, let me share my screen so we can get into the list. Sorry, y'all. It's a little trial and error here. Let's see here. Uh, okay, here we go. I think I got it. I think I got it, y'all. I think I got it. All right, is it working? Can y'all see? Maybe let's do this format. All right, how's that? Can y'all see the list or at least the template? You know what? I'm gonna make this two. All right, I can see. All right, cool. So, as y'all can see, have 6 rows of Clone Wars characters, and it's already so big to where you can barely see them on the screen. So, but yeah, it's just a lot of them, or at least I tried adding the ones that at least have like a smidge of importance to a lot of importance. So that kind of goes from like those who had at least more than one episode appearance to characters like Anakin, Ahsoka, Obi-Wan in them. But um yeah, let's I did add a few ones that some other people wanted to see and I was like, "All right, sure, why not?" But yeah, let's get started with the list, folks. Maybe y'all can guess and see which characters I put where. So, to start off, we have Jar Binks. Well, actually, before I do start, this is gonna be a little different than the last Clone Wars tier list I made. Because I did make one like a year and a half ago, and I did get some flack for it. Maybe because I tried to sacrifice my personal opinion on these characters for a balanced tier list, but that is not happening right here. If we have a S tier that is all the way through the screen, so be it. Excuse me. But without further ado, let's just get into this list. So, first up, we have Jar Binks. And yes, I know people didn't like him and stuff from the Phantom Menace, but I actually think he was pretty all right in Clone Wars. He was definitely more funnier. I think the episodes he was in, the tone fit his his comedy for sure. So yeah, and the jokes definitely hit more for Jar Jar in Clone Wars, and the clumsiness and all that. So Jar Jar Binks is going to go in the C tier for me. Any disagreements? Too bad. Jar Jar was Bar. JW, I'm in your walls, dude. So next up we have Echo, and he was pretty cool, being a part of Rex's little ARC Trooper Brigade, 501st, Then he supposedly died, so cut his story off. But then he was actually alive, and he was found in the Bad Batch arc of Clone Wars Season 7. I'm not going to get into my opinion of Echo from the Bad Batch, because my opinion of Echo from Bad Batch and my opinion of Echo from Clone Wars, they are way different. Like, if I put both of them on here, there would be a definite gap between the two characters. But for me, Clone Wars Echo was pretty cool. I liked him, and he definitely got his moments to shine for sure. So he's gonna go in the B tier for me. Next up, we have Satine, the Duchess Satine. And she was great in my opinion. I liked her character a lot, maybe especially because her and Obi-Wan, in my opinion, had the best, even though it wasn't technically a relationship, they're the best ship in Clone Wars in my opinion. You can quote me on that. But yeah, I enjoyed her character, and it was really sad when she bit the dust due to Darth Maul or Maul. But she's gonna go in the A tier for me. I feel like she'd be S tier if she just had a little bit more to do, but I still loved her so much. I hope we get to see some sort of maybe like flashbacks to Obi-Wan and Satine in the Kenobi show. I'm literally begging for that. Twitter people, y'all know what I'm talking about. So next up we have C-3PO, and he was pretty solid in Clone Wars. I think he's had better moments, but I think he's also had worse moments in Clone Wars. He's just a pretty solid character, providing the lack of sarcasm, but he still got the charm, and all that. Anthony Daniels does great with the character, no matter what. So he's also going to go in the C tier, but above Jar Jar for me. See if any more people join the chat. Nope. All right, well let's continue. Next up, we have Aura Singh. That's her name, right? Yeah, Aura Singh. I almost had a mind fart for a second, but she was a bounty hunter. She was tasked with helping. Well, she wasn't tasked with. She was trying to help Boba in his little, vendetta against Mace Windu, even though she had her own agendas. And then she came back to assassinate Padme, which was cool, I guess. And she was an all right character to me. She didn't really have too much to do. She only appeared in like 5 or 6 episodes in the entire show, but she was pretty all right to me. Definitely a fearless bounty hunter. Do not sleep on her. but she was just pretty all right to me. I wish she got to do more in the show. That's probably the only thing that holds me back. So she's gonna go at the bottom of the B tier as of right now. What y'all thinking of the list so far, huh? I know we only have done 5 characters, but we're gonna try and make this a little more interactive. Sorry if you hear noise in the background. That's my mini fridge doing, its little thing. No opinions on the list so far. Wait, C for C3PO. Yep. It's funny. I actually made that joke in the Clone Wars video. Well, Clone Wars tier list video that I made a year and a half ago. I was pretty proud of that. Well, there's only 2 people in here. So let's just continue on with the list. Maybe I'll take another pause in a little bit. Actually, let me separate these tabs so I can get to them easier. All right. Oh, wait, got a question. Have you been watching The Flash season 8 Armageddon thoughts so far? Oh, yeah, I definitely has been watching it. I've been loving it. I've been loving it so far. This right here, what The Flash has been doing right now, this is the comeback that the show has needed. I've been with the show through the hard times, and it be getting pretty hard sometimes to try and defend the show, especially in season 7. Even though season 7 is not my least favorite season, that spot is reserved for season 5. But I've it's been a little hard trying to defend the show when it was kind of a little hard to watch in season 7. But season 8 has been glorious. I mean, the acting is great. All the character, or at least most of the characters, they have something to do. They're not just standing there, And the fight scenes have been awesome. The character interactions has been awesome. Despero has been a great villain so far. And the end of episode 3, Thawne Thawne is a madman, and I love it. Thawne really said, "Hey, yo, Barry, let me just take over your life real quick." He's really salty because Barry was faster than him at the end of last season. That's crazy, but I love it, and I can't wait to watch part 4 on Tuesday and then part 5 on next week. This has been definitely a stretch of episodes for the books. I've been loving it so far. Me too. Season 7 is not my least favorite. My least favorite is season 2. Yes, unpopular opinion. Yeah, I know. Season 8 has been good so far. Episode 3 though was disappointing. I actually didn't think it was disappointing. It it was definitely a little slower than the other episodes, and probably my least favorite of the episodes so far, but that's not saying it was bad. I still enjoyed it a lot. I loved Black Lightning in the episode. I loved the fight scenes between Flash and Black Lightning. I like when Despero showed up. Cecile had some pretty great acting moments too. Kudos to the actress for that. I really enjoyed her in those scenes where she like talking about Joe and stuff. I enjoyed it. Most of the characters had stuff to do. I actually enjoyed it, and the setup for episode 4, like, come on, man, is pretty great. But yeah, let's get back into this tier list, folks. We got quite a bit of characters to go through. So next up we have Barriss Offee. I think that's her last name, Offee. And she was Luminara Padawan. She was also one of Ahsoka's best friends, in the Jedi Order. Then Barriss was like, "Hey, yo, the Jedi actually aren't great. Let me just kill some real quick." Bombing the Jedi Temple, trying to kill Ahsoka, framing Ahsoka for it, and then she tried taking on Anakin. Like, bruh, Barriss, you handed yourself that L. But she was a pretty cool character. I feel like the change was kind of quick, to be honest. Like, there was no build up for her turn to evil. I wish we could have seen that. But she's still an alright character to me nonetheless. Well, maybe a little bit more than alright. Like, especially that fight scene with her and Anakin was pretty cool. But yeah, she's a pretty decent character to me. So she's gonna go in the B tier between Echo and Aurra Sing. So next up we have Cad Bane, and he's the GOAT. He is the GOAT for sure. He's that bounty hunter everybody goes to. You know his name. You see that big fedora on his head. You know who's coming to town. It's Cad Bane. He has some of the most awesome scenes in the whole show. He's cool, calculated, calm, all that. And I love his character so much. I just wish we got to see more of him, because even though it felt like he was in the show a lot, he really wasn't. He was only in like a handful of episodes a season, and he wasn't even in seasons 5 through 7. But he was still awesome nonetheless. He definitely made his mark in the fan base and on the show. So he's going to go at the top of the A tier for me. Next up, we got my boy Rex. And come on, y'all. If you follow me on Twitter or have even heard me talk about Rex, you know he's going in the S tier. I love my boy Rex so much. He's my favorite Clone Wars character ever, and I don't think he'll ever get surpassed unless, maybe like Darth Bane shows up from like Legends or something, which will never happen. Well, even though I'm praying for it. But, Rex is the GOAT. He is the ultimate GOAT. I don't see anybody surpassing him as my favorite Clone Wars character for a long time. So next up we have Pong Krell. And yes, we all hate Pong Krell. Me and my homies hate Pong Krell. But he was an excellent villain. Like, I know we all hate him and stuff, but he was an excellent villain. Like, excellent. You really know that he did well because of the fan base hating him for what? It's been 8 to 9 years since that episode came out and we still all hate him. Like, come on now. So I'm going to go purely off of the character itself. I know we all hate him, but purely off the character himself and how he impacted the show, he is going in the mid A tier. He was an excellent main villain. Well, not main villain, but he was an excellent villain for the arc, Umbara arc. Water break. Next up, we have the homie Yoda, and he wasn't in Clone Wars a lot, to be honest. He's more like in the background. He did have a few episodes where he did get to shine, but other than that, he didn't really do a whole lot in the show. Even though his arc in season 6 was gorgeous, it's definitely some of the most beautiful shots, the greatest character development as well. Yoda, well, the greatest character development that Yoda has ever gotten, at least in my opinion. So he's going to go at the top of the B tier for me. Love how good a villain Krell was. Yeah, Krell was an excellent villain. We all hate him, but he was an excellent villain in the show. I loved how good of a villain he was, even though, I hated him for what he did. But that's how they made a great villain in Krell. I'm with you. I'm with you, Star Wars fan. I'm with you, man. So next up we have Count Dooku, and Count Dooku was goated in Clone Wars. He didn't get a lot of time to shine in the movies, but he definitely got his time to shine in Clone Wars. He was all over the place, doing the business, getting it done. He got his hands dirty every once in a while too. He was great in Clone Wars. I loved him in Clone Wars. So he's gonna go in the S tier below Rex. Next up, we have Pre Vizsla, and Pre Vizsla is also another underrated villain in Clone Wars. I really enjoyed his time on Clone Wars. He appeared in season 2, was a kind of a threat to Obi-Wan and Satine, and then he showed up back in season 4 when he was taking on Ahsoka. Then showed back up in season 5 where he teamed up with Maul. It was a great pairing between the two. Well, actually, it was a great trio: him, Savage, and Maul. And then, it was a little sad. It was kind of sad a little bit, when he got taken out by Maul, even though Maul is the GOAT and will forever be the GOAT. But I enjoyed Pre Vizsla's time on the show a lot. So he's going to go at the bottom of the A tier for me. Dooku is Shockwave reincarnated. Man, that actually kind of makes sense. That actually kind of makes sense. I see you, JW. I see you, man. Next up, we have Mace Windu. And Mace Windu was criminally underused in the show, just as he was criminally underused in the prequel trilogy. But that doesn't mean he didn't have his moments. He definitely had his moments for sure. Not many of them, but he definitely had them. And, you got to appreciate what they did with the character, even though it wasn't a lot. His storylines were great as well. So he's going to go under Echo in the B tier. And we are done with row 1 of the tier list. What y'all thinking so far? If y'all have any opinions. Who would work as a Sith member, Punisher or Reverse Flash? Probably Reverse Flash. Just because even though Punisher's he's still a hero. Even though he's an anti-hero, he's still a hero. He just doesn't care about killing people. That's his thing. He'd still have issues with the Sith and how they go about things. So I definitely have to go Reverse Flash. So far, your tier list is good. Thank you. May not be the biggest Star Wars. Hey, man, I respect your opinion too, and I'm glad you joined for this Star Wars tier list anyway. So thank you for tuning in, even though Star Wars isn't your biggest focus or you're not the biggest fan of Star Wars. So thank you for tuning in anyway, man. I appreciate it. But let's continue with row number 2. Still got a long way to go, as you can see. So next up we have Clovis, Rush Clovis. Next up, y'all, come on, y'all know why he's in the F tier. Y'all know why. I can't with this dude. I cannot with him. I don't even want to talk about him no more. Moving on. Next up, we have Darth Sidious or Emperor Palpatine. And he also didn't have much to do in Clone Wars, but he was still, cool behind the scenes and all that. And when he had that fight scene against Maul and Sidious, no, Maul and Savage, not Sidious. Why would he be fighting himself? Maul and Savage, I'm telling you, that is my favorite Clone Wars fight scene ever. Yes, I know most people like Ahsoka versus Maul, and I like that too, but Sidious versus Maul and Savage is just perfection on another level. It is cinema. And I love that fight scene so much. Oh man, that fight scene is amazing. And, you know, part of that is Sidious. So, well, part of that is because of Sidious. So he's going to go at the top of the B tier for me. It's probably just because he didn't do a lot in the show, even though he was, behind the scenes and all that. He was still pretty cool nonetheless. Clovis called SSAB's cerebellum to rupture. I think I might be missing something, JW. Yeah, I think I might be missing something. I think I might be missing the joke. I am partly slow, so you gotta forgive me on that. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I see. I see. Well, Clovis was so cringy. You're blamed. Well, among many other things, yes, that did happen when Clovis was on the screen. So thank you for, portraying what I felt to the rest of the chat. Thank you for that. But let's continue on. Next up, we have Lux Spontary, and he was the son of the Separatist senator, even though he was a senator himself before his mother died. Then he wanted to kill Count Dooku, and he made bad decisions. And then he was on I forgot what that world was, but it was with the rebels, with like Stila Guerrera and them in season 5. I didn't care for the character that much. I don't know why people. I don't know why they even thought of trying to make him and Ahsoka a thing. I'm glad they made him and Stila a thing, even though she did kick the bucket. So he's gonna go in the D tier. I wasn't a fan of the character that much. Sorry if you guys are hearing noise out there. My dorm mates are pretty loud. Well, like next door neighbors and all that. But next up we have Cody, and Cody, is doing his thing, doing his commander thing, leading the troops into battle under Obi-Wan Kenobi and all that. Even though he didn't get a lot of focus like Rex did, he was still pretty cool in the show. And I definitely enjoyed his time on there, even though his eventual turn to Order 66. But we don't talk about that. We're not going to cry here today. So he's going to go at the bottom of the A tier for me. Next up, we have Kenobi, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he's going in the S tier. Obi-Wan Kenobi is my favorite Star Wars character ever. That includes live action. Even though he's not my favorite Clone Wars character, he's still awesome in Clone Wars nonetheless. And he has the best ship in the Clone Wars. You can quote me on that. You can fight me about it any day. I love that. I love them too so much. But yeah, Obi-Wan is great in Clone Wars, just like he is great in the live action movies. So that's why he's in the S tier. Next up, we got Padme Amidala, and Padme definitely got her chance to shine in the Clone Wars, even though it wasn't as much as most characters. They still gave her some stuff to do, and I appreciate that. She was doing her Senate thing, and she was also, kicking some droid tailpipe as well. So she's gonna go just below Barriss in the B tier. The B tier's already getting full. We might be in trouble. We're not even halfway through the list. We might be in trouble. Whoops. Next up, we have Hondo Onaka. And, he was the GOAT in the comedy aspect for real. That's really all he did, but that's what he's known for, and that's what he's good at. His comedy was through the roof. I was cracking up every time he showed up, and I still do. You gotta love the boy Hondo. He's just trying to have a good time, and I respect that. So he's gonna go above Barriss in the B tier. Next up, we have R2D2, and he's going in the S tier because he is the GOAT. He is the one. He is the alpha of the show. Nothing would be possible without R2. Plus, he's my favorite droid, so that's the reason why he's going in the S tier. Look at him. Look at him so commanding. You got a squad behind him. R2's the GOAT, and y'all know it. Next up, we have Ahsoka Tano, and she is my second favorite character of the Clone Wars. So she is going in the S tier. Ahsoka, I love Ahsoka so much. Ahsoka, she definitely had the best, or at least like the best, probably like character development of the entire show. We literally grew up with her, and it was just awesome to see. She had some great fight scenes, great character moments, and she's just great overall. There's really nothing bad you can say about her. She's just great. I love Ahsoka so much, and I can't wait for the Ahsoka show in 2023. I think that's the date now. But yeah, I love Ahsoka so much. So that's why she's number 2 in the S tier. R2 was the war hero, Chopper was the war criminal. Facts. But don't get it twisted. R2 was the original menace. Do not get it twisted. Next up, we have Saw Gerrera, and he was pretty all right in his time on Clone Wars. I mean, he really only appeared in one arc, but it was a pretty cool arc as well. He was doing his rebel thing, even though I did like his sister a little more than him. So he's going to go in the C tier. I still do appreciate Saw Gerrera nonetheless. He was pretty all right in that arc. I just wish he had more to do. Next up, we have Boba Fett, or Little Boba Fett, and I used to not like him. I mean, I still kind of don't, but after watching that Boba Fett documentary and learning that the kid who played Boba Fett in Attack of the Clones, well, he's not a kid anymore, but he played or he voiced Boba in the show. So that was actually pretty cool to learn. And, maybe appreciate the character a little more, even though he's still an annoying prick nonetheless. So he's going to go at the top of the D tier for me. I didn't care for Boba Fett in the show. Next up, we have the homie Anakin Skywalker. And, even though this is basically Ahsoka's story, it's also kind of Anakin's story, too, giving him a lot more character development and, making his turn to the dark side hurt even more, which it did. And I definitely wanted to cry. And I probably did once or twice. But, it's Anakin Skywalker. Well, what can you say? So he's going to go in the S tier below Obi-Wan Kenobi. Next up, we have Mother Talzin, and she was the creepy witch of Dathomir. Very creepy. Wait a minute, I just realized something. I put 2 Mother Talzins on the list. Wow. Okay then. Well, I guess you know what? I'm gonna do this picture of Mother Talzin because she looks a little bit more menacing than the one I was gonna put up. But she was doing her thing, and even though she didn't have a lot to do, she was pretty cool, pretty creepy, and I don't really know her status anymore. She's dead. Someone let me know if you know her status, because I kind of lost track of her after season 6 of Clone Wars. So she's gonna go at the top of the C tier for me. Next up, we have Darth Maul, and he is also the GOAT. As you can see, Clone Wars has a lot of GOATs. I just love them so much. I love the show so much, and I love these characters so much. But he's going in the S tier, just above Obi-Wan Kenobi. His return to glory was awesome. This made me love the character of Darth Maul even more than I did just from his appearance in Phantom Menace. He was cool. He was menacing. He was everything under the sun that was awesome. And I just really love the character so much in the show. And he's definitely my favorite villain of the show. And Darth Maul, basically because of Clone Wars, is now my favorite Star Wars villain ever. So yeah, that's why he's in the S tier. Oh, we're done with the second row. I didn't realize that. But yeah, we're done with the second row. And the list is already looking full. We might be in trouble. We might be in trouble. But what y'all think so far? Which show do you like more, Arrow or the Clone Wars? Clone Wars. Gotta go with Clone Wars. I love Arrow, but Clone Wars helped me out at definitely a hard time in my life. So it holds a special place in my life for sure. And Clone Wars is what made me love Star Wars to begin with. So I definitely got to go with Clone Wars. I still love Arrow, but Clone Wars all day, man. Clone Wars. Clone Wars has more arrows than arrows. What you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Well, let's continue on then, because we still have quite a bit of ways to go. And like I said, the list is getting full already, so we might be in trouble. But next up, we have Stila Guerrera. And like I said, I liked her a little bit more than her brother. She was pretty cool. She was cunning. She was smart. She was fearless. All that good stuff. And yeah, it was sad when she died. She was definitely going to be the leader of that rebellion. She was definitely the leader of that rebellion for sure. And I definitely appreciate it. Only drawback is I didn't care about her and Lux's relationship. But, other than that, she's definitely a cool character. So she's going to go above Aura Singh in the B tier. Next up, we have Bogatan, and Bogatan is awesome, definitely in her own right. You know, her morals are definitely kind of questionable, but she's still awesome in her own right. You know, she has some awesome fight scenes. You know, fighting for Mandalore and all that good stuff. And well, yeah, that's really it. She she doesn't appear a lot when you really think about it. She just appeared in like the most important storylines. It's probably why she's really up there as one of the great characters of Clone Wars. But you know, she like I said, she's awesome in her own right, and definitely got to give credit to them for making Bo Katan awesome. So she's gonna go at the bottom of the A tier for me. Well. Next up, we have Mr. Underrated himself, Savage Opress, and he's going in the S tier. I love Savage Opress. If I can put him up there, that'd be great. But yeah, I love Savage Opress. I don't care what anybody else says. He's going above Dooku in the S tier. I love Savage Opress. He's definitely one of the most or if not the most underrated character of Clone Wars. That's why I call him Mr. Underrated. He's so awesome. He definitely deserved better. He definitely deserves to rule Mandalore alongside his brother Maul. That would have been so awesome to see. But he was already awesome. So, I mean, how much more awesomeness can he get? But yeah, that's why he's in the S tier for sure. Mr. Underrated, at least not in my eyes. Next up, we have General Grievous, and General Grievous definitely shined in Clone Wars for sure. You know, if it was just episode 3, you know, he'd be fine, I guess. Well, he does have his appearance in the 2003 Clone Wars. So, you know, maybe he could have held up from there, but General Grievous definitely shined in Clone Wars. And he was awesome. You know, he was doing this thing, leading the droids and all that good stuff. And like I said, he was awesome in Clone Wars. He definitely shined the most. That's probably why most people love him so much. Is because of Clone Wars. So he's gonna go at the top of the A tier for me. General Grievous is my favorite star. Oh yeah, I can understand why, man. He definitely has his moments, man, in the show, and you know I understand why people love him so much. Same here, yeah, yeah, man. I know there are a lot of General Grievous fans out there. I am a fan of him as well. Maybe not a huge fan like you guys are, but still a fan nonetheless. Next up, we have Asajj Ventress, and Ventress was definitely another goat of the show for real. She was definitely awesome, and she definitely had her moments for sure. She also didn't appear a lot. Like when you really think about it, she only appeared in like probably a handful of episodes in the entire show. When it really comes down to it, especially because you know she's portrayed by Dooku in the middle of season 3, and then she was just chilling with the Night Sisters until season 4, and then she became a bounty hunter at the end of season 4 and all that good stuff. But yeah, she was awesome, and it was sad to hear about her fate in canon. I really thought she made it out alive after season 5. For the longest time, I thought she made it out alive in season 5. I was hoping that maybe she could make an appearance in the Kenobi show, but you know, she kicks the bucket in a canon comic. So that was kind of sad to hear. But, you know, she lives on in my heart. So she's going to go under Grievous in the A tier. Oh, we got another double. How many doubles did I put in here? Maybe I wasn't paying attention or something like that. But yeah, here's another double of Sidious. So moving on to Shock T. Now, Shock T, she was a little bit annoying in the show, not even gonna lie. Maybe it's because she wasn't siding with fives right away. That's probably why I was annoyed as a kid, and probably still a little bit annoyed now. Like, why don't you believe fives? He's literally giving his heart and soul out to you, to be honest. But she had her moments for sure, and I definitely, appreciate her, even though she does have kind of a tragic end, or at least her ends are always tragic, as in she's died the most in Star Wars, even though we don't know which one is her official death per se. I mean, maybe it was the Force Dream where Yoda had with Anakin killed her, but then there was another time where Grievous killed her, and there's another time where Vader killed. Yeah, it's just it's just kind of feel bad for her, to be honest. So Shock T is going in the C tier above C3PO. Have you heard of Emma Glam Comics from 1996? Basically, is I think I've heard of that. Is that where like the heroes were combined to make like new heroes? I guess I think I might have heard of that. But next up, we have Kit Fisto, and Kit Fisto is another underrated character in Star Wars, in my opinion. I love Kit Fisto so much. He's definitely one of the goats of Star Wars for sure. And he that smile just brings, you know, that smile brings in the light, man, for sure. So he's gonna go in the A tier. I'm gonna put him above Krell. Next up, we have Plo Koon, another goat of the show. I really enjoyed Plo Koon. Definitely fleshed his character out a lot. And you gotta care about him too, because he brought in Ahsoka. And that was so sweet. Watching him and Ahsoka's bond, that was one of the best parts of the show. And Plo Koon is definitely awesome in his own right. He's definitely the one who's actually started the trend, at least in my opinion, of sharing to the clones that we care about y'all too, and you're not just numbers. Y'all are actual human beings who deserve rights and stuff like that. So for me, Plo Koon is going in the A tier. He's gonna go below Satine. These lists are getting full already. Dude, I hope they shrink if we get like to the end. Oh boy, maybe I didn't think this through all the way. Yeah, that's the Amaglam universe where it had a. Yeah, I heard of that. Batman Wolverine hybrid. That's what I thought of when I heard that it was a hybrid universe between DC and Marvel. No, I actually haven't read any of. I've heard of them. Yeah, I haven't read any of them yet though. I might read them someday soon. Next up, we have Luminara Unduli. I think that's her last name. And she was all right in my opinion. I mean, she did have her moments in the show for sure. And even though I'm not counting it to my thoughts on the tier list, it is kind of sad her end, where she's basically used as a puppet by the Grand Inquisitor to lure more Jedi. That was crazy. Her dead corpse, honestly. So that was insane. But yeah, she was just all right to me. Nothing really too stand out for me, but she still had her moments. So she's gonna go above Shock T in the C tier. Next up, we have fives, and if there's a clone that I like second after Rex, it's fives. You gotta love fives so much. So he's gonna go in the S tier for me. He's gonna go at the bottom of the S tier, but that's just because all these other characters are slightly more goated than him. But he's still goated nonetheless. I love Five so much. He definitely has one of the more tragic stories in the entire show. Y'all know what it is. Fox, you know what you did. You know what you did. Next up, we have, I think that's Boyle. Yeah, it's Boyle. And he was like in my top 5 clones for a while. I don't know what. Well, maybe that I don't know why. He did have his moments. He's pretty awesome in like what the 3 episodes he was in. So, I mean, well, that's really it. I mean, he definitely had his moments for sure in those 3 episodes, but that's really all he had. So he's gonna go at the bottom of the B tier for me, just because he didn't show up more. If he showed up more, maybe he'd be higher. Next up, we have the daughter, and the daughter was very cryptic, very with the parables and all that jazz. And I mean, it was annoying at first, but then I understand. Once I understood like what the Mortis arc was truly about, I understood her more, and she was a pretty all right character. And she is now one with the Force and is the Morai that is beside Ahsoka. So that's actually pretty. That's actually pretty cool as well. But other than that, she didn't really do too much in her arc. So she's gonna go below Saw Gerrera in the C tier. Next up, we have the Sun, and the Sun was pretty goaded, to be honest. He also didn't have too much since he was only a part of that Mortis arc, but he was definitely threatening for sure. Like, Sam Witwer did a great job voicing the Sun. He was very, like I said, very threatening for sure. And, I wish there was more Sun, but I mean, I guess we have to free Sam Witwer so he could come back as Maul. But other than that, the Sun was a pretty cool villain in the show. So he's going to go up just below Hondo in the B tier. Oh, the B tier's full. I wonder what's going to happen next. Do I get to like scroll or something when the list gets full? I've never gotten this far before on a list. Well, like in one row. But we are done with row 3. So we are halfway done with this tier list, folks. Uh y'all hanging in there? I know I don't think any new people have joined yet. It's kind of sad, but at the same time, it is what it is. Thank you guys for tuning in though. I really appreciate at least having someone in the um in the chat. But yeah, what y'all think so far? Since we're halfway. I've watched a little bit of Family Guy, and I mean, it's pretty funny. I mean, that's what it's supposed to be. I've only watched like a couple episodes of it though. But let's continue the list. We still got kind of a ways to go, and I'm interested to see what happens when I try to add another character to the B tier. So next up we have Embo. And Embo, after probably like, so if we're gonna eliminate the main like bounty hunters, like the names that you do know, like Cad Bane, Boba Fett, Jango Fett, Embo would be next in line. Like Din Djarin, Embo would be next in line for me. I love Embo so much. Embo is another underrated character in my opinion. He's definitely goated when it comes to the fight scenes, and he's ruthless. To be honest, he's ruthless, and that's what you got to be when you're a bounty hunter. So he's gonna go in the A tier for me, at the bottom of the A tier though. Next up, we have Heavy. And I know Heavy was only in like 2 episodes of the whole show, one of them being a flashback episode. But, he was like the first clone who had the first emotional arc where, like, he became a soldier, became a man, and sacrificed himself for his brothers. And it was pretty sad. I think it's probably the first time people cry for sure. Or maybe at least. I don't know. But Heavy definitely earned that for real. So he's going to go in the bottom of the B tier. Oh, it just. Okay, I've never gotten this far, but it just grows. It'll stretch another. That's cool. I've never seen that before. Cool. Cool. But next up, we have the father. And the father he's a bad father. I'm sorry. He's a bad father. I guess I don't know. Something about him's just not right. And I mean, he was still pretty cool in the arc, but his indecisiveness basically doomed his 2 children and you know, his world. So I mean, what else can I say about him? He's gonna go under the daughter in the C tier. Next up, we have Tup, and Tup was the unfortunate first casualty. Well, not casualty, but first, doer of Order 66. And it was sad. It was really sad. Then he was trying to fight it, and it was also sad. And, he's part of the 501st, which means fives, and that was sad. But, it is what it is. So he's going to go at the top of the C tier for me. Who do you like more, Christian Bale's Batman or Grant Gustin's Flash? Grant Gustin's Flash by a mile. Not saying that I don't like Christian Bale's Batman, but I mean, I'm not too much of a fan of Batman overall. So any type of Batman's not gonna get me super hyped. But I love Grant Gustin as the Flash as well. He's my favorite Flash. So definitely Grant Gustin's Flash, 1000%. So next up we have Commander Fox. You know what you did, Fox. The only reason why you're not going in the F tier is because that sick armor of yours. So he's going to the bottom of the D tier. Don't quote me on this. You know why he's in there. We all know why he's in there. I will never stop slandering Fox. Good day. Next up, we have Waxer, and he was a part of the duo with him and Boyle. And then he died because of Krell, and that was very sad. But most of the clones have said, and so I mean, I don't know what else I gotta say about it. So he's gonna go at the bottom. Actually, he's gonna go at the top of the C tier for me. Next up, we have Kix, and Kix was like the 501st medic, and he was pretty cool. He didn't really have too much to do, but he was pretty cool nonetheless. So he's gonna go Under Saw Guerrera in the C tier. Next up, we have Jesse, and Jesse was also a pretty cool clone of the 501st, and then he had to, get swayed by Order 66, and he had to fight Ahsoka and Rex in the final episode of Clone Wars, which is also very sad. And it was very sad seeing his helmet on the ground and all that. Excuse me. But, he was still a pretty cool clone nonetheless. So he's going to go in the B tier above Stila Guerrera. Next up, we have Gregor, and Gregor is another cool clone. There's a lot of cool clones in this show. You're just gonna have to get used to if I can speak. You're just gonna have to get used to me saying cool clone for like a good chunk of this list. But yeah, he's a pretty cool clone. He, had that episode in season 5 for he was on the planet just being a dishwasher, but then he learned who he really is, and he fought the good fight, and he sacrificed himself, or at least we thought he did, until he came back in Rebels. But we're just going off his Clone Wars time. He was still pretty cool, and I really liked that fight scene with him fighting all those droids. So he's gonna go above Heavy in the B tier. Above Heavy in the B tier. Favorite Flash and Green Arrow villain from the comics? Ooh, from the comics? I'm not too knowledgeable of the comics, so I gotta think for a sec. Reverse Flash for Flash in the comics, without a doubt. And then for Green Arrow, I might just cop out and say the Dark Archer. Because I don't know a lot of Green Arrow villains in the comics. And I know Deathstroke isn't a Green Arrow villain. He's a Batman villain. So I'm going to just cop out and say the Dark Archer. Once I get more knowledgeable about the comics, I will definitely get back to you on that. And next up, we have 99. 99 is the GOAT and will forever be the GOAT. There are also a lot of GOATs on this list, so bear with me. But, he was, just cleaning and stacking stuff. He just never got his chance, but then he finally got his chance and sacrificed himself. And yeah, I definitely cried when 99 died. I'm not even gonna hold it to you. I definitely cried. So he's gonna go. I'm gonna put him in the bottom of the A tier. Next up, we have Crosshair, and I'm just going off of his time in Clone Wars season 7. He was probably my favorite member of the Bad Batch in Clone Wars season 7. He's probably my favorite member in the Bad Batch show. But if we're just going off Clone Wars, he's definitely awesome. The sniper skills were on point. He had some very cool scenes when he was, doing his sniper thing. So he's gonna go. He's gonna go. I'm gonna put him over Cody in the A tier. These lists are getting so long, I gotta hop these pictures over. Green Arrow villains. Are these from the comics? Because Deathstroke is more of a Batman villain. Oh, I could say Count Vertigo. Constantine, Dracon. Yeah. China. Yeah. I forgot about Prometheus and Brick because I remember those two. I'm still gonna say the Dark Archer, but Prometheus is definitely a close second. I will definitely say that, at least in the comics. In the show, Prometheus is above Merlin for me. Next up, we got Commander Bly. He only showed up in one episode, but he was one of those additions that wanted to be added. So I was like, hey, why not? And Bly was pretty cool. He was always with Alea Sakura. I think that's what her name is. And yeah, that's really it. He only had one episode to do his thing, and then he shot Alea when Order 66 happened. But it's Order 66. What can you do? So he's gonna go at the bottom of the C tier for me. Oh, and we are done with the fourth row. We only have 2 more rows left, people. Thank you guys for sticking with me so far. And yeah. Let me read this real quick. Yeah, they're all from the comics. Deathstroke is Batman. Yep. Green Arrow. Right, he is for. I didn't know. I knew he was a Teen Titans villain. I knew he was a Batman villain. I didn't know that he was a Green Arrow villain in the comics as well. Because I've only seen him fighting in the comics, Batman and the Teen Titans. But yeah, if Deathstroke is apparently a Green Arrow villain, I'm just gonna cop out and say Deathstroke then. But let's continue this list. We are almost there, folks. Next up, we have Hunter, and Hunter was pretty cool in the Bad Batch arc of Clone Wars. Definitely had the most, to do in the arc for sure. But like I said, he was pretty cool. He was definitely better in the Bad Batch show, in my opinion. But that's probably because him and Omega got the focus. But he was still cool in Clone Wars nonetheless. So he's gonna go under Echo in the B tier. That hurt. Ouch. Next up, we have Hard Case. In Hard Case, he was another clone who had to sacrifice himself for the good of the Republic and all that. He was definitely a funnier clone as well. He definitely came with the jokes for sure, and I definitely appreciate that. And then yeah, his sacrifice was also sad. Got your boy welling up a bit. So he's gonna go in the B tier. I'm going to put him just below Jesse. Deathstroke has fought Green Arrow in the comics. He ruined Green Arrow and Black Canary's wedding. I didn't know that. I did not know that. Hey, you learn something new every day. And yeah, that was cool. I glad I know that now. Next up, we have Tech. Tech was probably my least favorite in the arc. I mean, honestly, he's still my least favorite right now, but hopefully that changes in Bad Batch season 2. But he was my least favorite in the arc, but he still definitely had his moments for sure, just showing off how smart he is and all that. So he's gonna go at the. I'll put him just above 3PO in the C tier. Next up, we have the homie Wolf. And Wolf, if he got something to do other than stand around and, fly sometimes and all that, he'd definitely be in the S tier. But he's going in the A tier just because he barely did anything in this show. But his armor is so awesome. I love his armor so much. His phase 2 armor. He has the best phase 2 clone armor, in my opinion. So he's going to go put him above Plo Koon in the A tier. Next up, we have Wrecker, and Wrecker was definitely the funniest in that Bad Batch arc for sure. And, he also had some cool moments as well. Excuse me. So he's going to go. I will put him in the B tier. Below Hardcase. Oh boy. I don't even remember half of these younglings' names. But let's try and crank through them. The first youngling is this one. I don't know her name, but I mean, she was the one who took a minute to make her lightsaber, and she also kind of had a bond with Hondo, so that was pretty cool. But other than that, that's really it. She didn't really do too much or affect the story in a great deal. So she's gonna go at the bottom of the C tier for me. Next up, we have Petro Fuel, and he's going at the top of the D tier because he was an annoying. He was so annoying. Oh my gosh, I hated him, but I've grown to not hate him as much, but I still don't like him that much either. So Petro. I know his name is Petro, but it's Petro Fuel to me because he doesn't deserve the courtesy of his actual name. So that's why he's in the D tier, at the top of the D tier. No, I wasn't. Next up, we have Goonji, the goat. Goonji, he was my favorite out of those little twerps. And yeah, he was pretty cool nonetheless. Definitely my favorite. He had, he had the bamboo, or I think it was the Wookiee wood lightsaber. And he was cool. He was my favorite out of the crew, like I said. So he's gonna go at the bottom of the B tier for me. Next up, we have Biff. And Biff, the scary cat of the group, but he, I guess, did something. He didn't do a lot either, not even gonna lie. So he's gonna go under Bly in the C tier. Next up, we have this youngling. I forgot his name as well. He's Kit Fisto's species, and he was like the smartest of the group. And I mean, I guess that was pretty cool. He was kind of like a child tech, to be honest. Child Jedi tech. So he's gonna go. We'll put him just below tech in the C tier. How well do you think Punisher and Barry Allen would work as a team? It would take some getting used to for sure. Because Punisher don't trust anybody, but then you got Barry who trusts too many people. So I mean, it's definitely taking a minute for them to become acclimated with each other. Honestly, I don't think Barry would be. Well, I don't know if they'd work together at all, actually, because Punisher is all about the killing, and it would take a lot of convincing from Barry to get Punisher to not kill. So I don't know if they'd work very well together. Next up, we have this other youngling. She was also annoying, so she's gonna go under Petro Fuel in the D tier. Actually, she's gonna go below Boba. There we go. Next up, we have Senator Organa. And Senator Organa was pretty cool. He didn't really do too much in the show, but, he made his presence known. And he had a pretty cool, outfits. He didn't really do too much, if I'm being honest. But, it's Bail Organa. What can you hate about Bail Organa? You can't hate anything about him. So he's going to go above C-3PO in the C tier. Next up, we have Almec. He was the Prime Minister turned former Prime Minister, turned back to Prime Minister of Mandalore. Definitely evil. Definitely had evil intentions. I guess he wanted to rule Mandalore. So maybe not totally evil, but, still evil nonetheless, because he was siding with evil all the time. But he was all right to me. Definitely a foil for Satine. And he had the pretty cool armor, even though he barely got to use it in season 7. So he's going to go below C-3PO. Oh, actually, you know what? Above C-3PO in the C tier. All right, we are on the final row, guys. Final row for sure. And thank you guys for sticking around. It's been almost 90 minutes. So thank you for sticking around. I'll probably just make it a video if that's possible, so that people can go back and watch it if they want. Punisher would hate Alan because he would keep chickening out of killing. Oh yeah, exactly. Punisher would not like that Barry Allen doesn't like killing, and Barry Allen wouldn't like that Punisher does kill. So it would take a lot for them to work. They would need similar interests that align almost perfectly. So it would definitely take a minute for sure. But let's get into this final row, guys. First up, we have Masameda. And he was just there. I mean, he didn't really do anything. He was just there, supporting Palpatine from the shadows and all that. So he's going to go below Biff in the C tier. Next up, we have Tarkin. And Tarkin was definitely well, I mean, he was supposed to be annoying. That's his character. And, well, I don't really got too much to say about him. He only showed up in like a few episodes. He showed up in the Citadel arc in season 3, and then he showed up again when Ahsoka was put on trial because it was the military, and the military were against Ahsoka and the Jedi. Well, basically everyone was against Ahsoka. But I mean, it's Tarkin. What can you say? So he's gonna go above Jar Jar in the C tier. Next up, we have Gar Saxon, and I'm purely going off his Clone Wars appearance, because if we were going off Rebels, he'd be at the bottom of the F tier. I hate Gar Saxon so much, especially his punchable face. But if we're just going off of Clone Wars, purely off of Clone Wars, he was pretty cool. I'm not even going to lie. He was pretty cool in Clone Wars, especially his armor. His armor was sick. I need that armor, to be honest. So he's going to go in the B tier below Stila Guerrera. Next up, we got Ki-Adi-Mundi. And, he was there, to be honest. He didn't really have a lot to do as well. He was just in the background. And then he did have a prominent role in the Geonosis arc of season 2. But other than that, he really didn't do too much. But he was pretty cool in that arc. I'll give him that. So he's going to go above the daughter in the C tier. All right. Next up, we have Admiral Elarin. And Admiral Elarin was the goat of the show. Without him, none of the show could be possible. Well, y'all know because the voice actor was the narrator as well, so that's that's why he's there. But yeah, Admiral Yularen, he had his moments for sure. You know, being cool and calculated on the field of battle and all that. And yeah, he was cool. I'm just sad that he decided to join the Empire. That's really the tragic part about Yularen is that he joined the Empire. That was sad. But that was in Rebels. So we're not talking about Rebels. So him joining the Empire doesn't exist. So he's going to go in the B tier, uh, just below Gar Saxon. Next up, we have Riff Tampson, and he was like the shark dude from the beginning of season 4, that arc on Mon Cala, or yeah, on Mon Cala. Yeah, that was the planet, Mon Cala. And he was pretty cool, not even gonna lie. He was definitely one of the better villains. Or like villains who like didn't have too much to do or didn't affect like too much of the story overall. But yeah, he was definitely one of the better villains, probably because he's a shark, and I love sharks. So he's gonna go in the B tier, above, below Padme, just below Padme. Next up, we have Slick, and Slick was that clone that the portrayed everybody in that episode. I think it was in season 2. Wasn't it season 2? It was either season 1 or season 2 where he like betrayed everybody, blew up some armory, and then told Ventress, he was like, "Hey, come attack," and all that. But that's really all he did. And he didn't really have any character development other than that. So I mean, I don't know what you want me to say. Slick is gonna go in the D tier, at the bottom of the D tier. I'll give you a little bit of credit, Fox, because that's sick armor. Next up, we have Voss. His first name is really blanking on me right now. Oh my gosh. I almost said Dryden Voss. Oh, it's Quinlan Voss. Okay, his first name was blanking on me for a second. Next up, we have Quinlan Voss. And he also only showed up in one episode of Clone Wars, but he was pretty cool, He was definitely a cool foil to Obi-Wan. Their banter was pretty funny, not even gonna lie. And he had a pretty cool fight scene, when he was helping Obi-Wan fight Cad Bane. But he's gonna go in the C tier, above the daughter. Next up, we have Darth Bane. Now, why did I add Darth Bane to this list when he was only in like one episode and he was like in 3 minutes of one episode? He was just menacing. He's actually the reason why I decided to get into Star Wars Legends. That's a story for another time. But if we're just purely going off of his Clone Wars appearance, I mean, he's pretty menacing. That's really all I can say. He's pretty menacing, and he got me interested in the character of Darth Bane anyway. And, he's the ruler of two. Not ruler of two. He's the creator of the rule of two. So, that's Darth Bane for you. So he's going to go. I'm going to put him above Aura Singh in the B tier. Next up, we have Colonel Meeber Gaskar. And Meeber was a part of that droid arc. in season 5, and he was pretty cool. Not even gonna lie. I mean, he didn't really do too much, and overall, his character didn't really affect the story that much. But he was still pretty all right, nonetheless. So he's gonna go at the bottom of the B tier for me. You know what? I'm going to move Bane. Actually, no, I'm not going to move Bane. We made it, folks. Finally, we have Master Evan Peel. I think that's his name. And he was that Jedi who got captured. He was a part of the Citadel arc. He definitely had some cool moments because of that Citadel arc. Then he died tragically. And, he sacrificed himself for the Republic. So, you got to give him credit there. So he's going to go in the C tier above Kicks. Well, we did it, everybody. We did it, everybody. Oh, man. I'm actually kind of tired by this. That was longer than I expected it to be. But let's just go through it. F tier, we have Rush Clovis, the only character in the F tier, surprisingly. In the D tier, we have Petro Fuel, Boba Fett, that annoying youngling, Lux Bonteri, Commander Fox, and Slick. In the C tier, we have Waxer, Tup, Mother Talzin, Saw Gerrera, Evan Peel, Kix, Ki-Adi-Mundi, Quinlan Voss, the daughter, the father, Luminara, Shakti, Tech, that techie youngling, Bail Organa, Prime Minister Almec, C-3PO, Tarkin, Jar Binks, Commander Bly, Biff, Masameda, and this youngling right here. In the B tier, we have Darth Sidious, aka Emperor Palpatine, Yoda, Echo, Hunter, Mace Windu, Hondo, the Sun, Barriss, Padme, Riff Tampson, Jesse, Hardcase, Wrecker, Stila Guerrera, Gar Saxon, Admiral Elarin, the ghost of Darth Bane. Oh, her name's blanking on me right now. I'm having a brain fart. Aura Singh, there we go. Boyle, Gregor, Heavy, Goonji, and Meeber. In the A tier, we have Grievous, Asajj Ventress, Cad Bane, Kit Fisto, Pong Krell, Satine, Wolf, Plo Koon, Vizsla, Crosshair, Cody, Bogatan, Embo, and 99. And in the S tier, we have Rex, Ahsoka, Maul, Obi-Wan, Anakin, Savage Opress, Count Dooku, R2-D2, and 5s. Oh, well, that's the tier list, folks. Tier list. Oh my gosh. I'm actually tired, y'all. This took a minute. And it took a lot out of me too. But we made it, y'all. For those who stuck around, thank you for sticking around. This was a long list. This went a lot longer than I thought it would. But thank you for sticking around on this list. Thank you for tuning in anyway. I really appreciate the few you guys who tuned in. It means a lot. Even if one person just tuned in, that'd be enough for me. Because, I still am kind of a small channel. So I kind of expected this. But thank you for tuning in anyway. Here, let me stop sharing my screen. If anyone else had, maybe I'll stick around for like a few more minutes. If anyone else got any like questions or anything they want to ask me, but I'll probably end the stream in a few minutes if no one has anything else they want to talk about. Man. I'm not gonna answer any questions like that. Just sorry, but at least no, not right. Not right now. I'm not gonna answer no questions like that. But I'm gonna actually end the stream right here. So thank you guys for tuning into the stream. This was actually a pretty, for the most part, smooth stream for my first time on StreamYard. So how about that? And thank you guys for tuning into the stream. If you guys tuned in, thank you for watching the stream. If you're watching it afterwards, thank you for watching me ramble for almost 100 for about 100 minutes. Yeah, and I will catch you guys in my next video, in my next stream. I'll probably do another stream soon, but it'll definitely be a lot shorter than this one. So don't worry about it being as long as it was today. But thank you guys for tuning in, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace out.